Reid. Head row Pacific.
Lovely Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Tonight I'm going to tell you the story of the life and death of Remus Reid. Here he is, standing in 1887. You can see he's the one with the rope just about to be put around his neck. Several years ago, one of his ancestors was researching the family tree, and she came across this photograph, the only surviving photograph known to exist. And on the back, there was a plotted history of the life and death of Remus Reid. During her research, she also came across the other person on that photograph, in the photograph, Senator Reid, also a relation. And she wrote to him to find out whether he knew any more about Remus Reid and how he lived and how he died. And he did. So tonight, what I'm going to do is do a juxtaposition of, on one side, all the words that appeared on the back of that photograph with the words that the senator provided. According to the senator, Remus Reid was a famous cowboy who lived in Montana in the United States of America, in a place called La Cuna. He spent a lot of his time and made lots of money in the equestrian trade. For those of you who are not familiar with the equestrian trade, he dealt with horses. According to the photograph, however, he was a no-good, cheating horse thief. Slight contrast between the two takes. In 1883, Remus Reid left civil life to work with the government in a very hard and arduous task, which would take him 4 years. On the back of the photograph, he was caught and put into prison and made to do hard labour. According to Senator Reid, after 4 years working with the government so arduously, Remus Reid went back into the world to look for horses and to forge a very intimate relationship with the Montana State Railway. According to the back of the photograph, however, one evening, several of Remus Reid's gang blew a big hole into the side of the prison. Remus Reid escaped. Did I tell you about the intimate relationship with the railway? Absolutely. He went and robbed the Montana Flyer over 6 times. In 1885, Remus Reid was involved in a really difficult investigation undertaken by the very famous, at the time, Pinkerton Detective Agency. You know what's coming. According to the photograph. Right. Detectives scoured all over the land looking for Remus Reid, and they finally arrested him and put him back into prison. Which brings us, sadly, back to the end of the story where it began. As you can see, Remus Reid's the one in the middle with the rope around his neck. In 1889, Remus Reid, during a humongously large ceremony which took place in his honour, he met his death when the platform upon which he was standing mysteriously collapsed. Fellow Toastmasters, in 1889, Remus Reid, standing on the platform, looking out, waving to well-wishers, found the platform did disappear from underneath him when the hangman pulled the lever, and down went Remus Reid. And that, fellow Toastmasters, is the end of Remus Reid. And what is the moral of this story, fellow Toastmasters? That no matter what happens in your lives, no matter what pain you go through, no matter what hardships you may figure out and have in your life, you can always put a spin on it. Just ask Remus Reid.